Labour activists will be outside some Southern Ontario Tim Hortons locations protesting recent decisions by some franchise owners to stop paid breaks and force employees to pay a portion of their benefits. Let's get over to our Tammie Sutherland outside of Keele and Lawrence, where one of these protests is expected to happen this morning. Tammie.
Melanie, we're about an hour away from when the protest is expected to start. They've been organized by the Ontario Federation of Labour. The OFL saying that it's unacceptable that these changes have been made. Of course, as you mentioned, after the minimum wage was hiked to $14 on January 1st, that is when some franchise owners decided to cut the paid breaks as well as some medical benefits for employees who are already being paid just the $14 minimum wage. Much of the anger was focused on two locations out in Cobourg. That's where the owners of two locations they're the heirs of the Tim Hortons founders as well. The OFL saying that Restaurants Brands International, that's the parent company of Tim Hortons, made about $3 billion US in 2016 alone off of the brand. So they're saying they make this much money. It's just unacceptable for them to be cutting back, of course, on the pay as well as the benefits for employees. Now, Tim Hortons itself did put out a statement last week saying that they also find this unacceptable. They say that this does not support their values at all for Tim Hortons, and they said that they are committed to work with franchise owners through this very difficult time with this increased wage rate now, and they want to be able to help them but also help employees. So once again, at 8 o'clock, this is where one of several protests are set to take place. Mel, I'll send it back to you.
All right, Tammie, thank you for that, and we'll check in with you when that does get underway. Labour activists will be outside some Southern Ontario Tim Hortons locations this morning, protesting recent decisions by some franchise owners to stop paid breaks and force employees to pay a portion of their benefits. Our Tammie Sutherland live right now outside of the Keele and Lawrence Tim Hortons location, where we are expected to see in about half an hour from now, Tammie, a protest. Good morning.
Good morning, Melanie. It should be leaders from several different unions here in the province who will be showing up here at Keele and Wilson and at other locations right across the province to protest the decision by some franchise owners after the $14 minimum wage took place as of January 1st. Those paid breaks as well as cuts to some benefits really is something that some of the franchise owners have said that they've had to do in order to make up for the additional cost now with the $14 minimum wage. We spoke to some customers who are going into this Tim Hortons this morning who say that they agree and feel that Tim Hortons makes enough money in order to balance everything out.
I think that Tim Hortons, well, it's not Tim Hortons, it's, as the man said, different franchises. They make so much money. What does it hurt to cut the pie a little deeper for the employees? You know? Would
you be willing not to buy anything?
No. I meet my daughter every morning here before she goes to work. It's important for me that I meet my daughter.
Well, I think these big franchises make enough money to pay the $14 an hour and still keep their benefits running. I don't see the problem why they're cutting back on benefits and taking away from the community and the people that need it.
Now, again, these franchise owners, they say that they need to do something in order to compensate for the additional money that's going out in salaries to their part-time employees. Tim Hortons actually put out a statement last week saying that they found these decisions unacceptable. It's not part of their values, and they are committed to working with these franchise owners in order to help them deal with this very challenging time. Melanie, I'll send it back to you.
All right, Tammie Sutherland, thank you for that. Labour activists are going to be outside some Southern Ontario Tim Hortons locations today, including this morning. They're protesting some recent decisions by some franchise owners to stop paid breaks and force employees to pay a portion of their benefits. Now, our Tammie Sutherland is standing by live right now at Keele and Lawrence, one of the locations. Tammie, what's it look like right there?
All right, on the dot, basically at 8 o'clock, this is what you're seeing right now as we have members of several different unions, including the Postal Union, the UFCW, as well as Unifor here. They say they're coming out here to support the Tim Hortons employees, some of them who have had their paid breaks cut, as well as some of their benefits cut in light of the minimum wage hike as well. We have Scott McElmole from Unifor Local 112. You're the president. Tell us why you guys wanted to come out here today to do this in front of several Tim Hortons?
We're out here to speak and represent workers, organized and unorganized. You know, these laws come into change with regards to helping those folks and those workers at the bottom of the wage scale. And what the corporation is doing, what these franchise owners are doing is now cutting back hours, taking away breaks, telling them to put tips back in the till, and that's all wrong. That's just going to set them back again, and that's not right.
And what about the owners who say, you know what, we need to do this in order to keep our livelihood as well?
Well, then show your books. Tell us what you're making. Because you know what? You've got people out there that are making less than $14 an hour up till January 1st who had second jobs just to survive. I'm sure these owners and these franchise owners, you know, they've got more than one franchise, some of them. They're doing well.
All right, thank you very much, Scott. And once again, this is supposed to last for about an hour or so, and these union members will be handing out these pamphlets to customers who are heading into these Tim Hortons locations. But again, there are the franchise owners who are saying that this is just something they have to do in light of this minimum wage hike as well. Mel, I'll send it back to you for now.
All right, Tammie, thank you so much for that. It is 8:16. Here's what's happening right now. A protest at Tim Hortons near Keele and Lawrence demonstrating against the decision to end paid breaks and some benefits by select franchise owners. This all in response to the minimum wage hike. Protests are also happening at outside more than a dozen other stores around southern Ontario today. Happening right now, a protest outside of Tim Hortons near College and Spadina. You can see police are now on the scene here, just ensuring that this is peaceful here. This is demonstrating against the decision to end paid breaks and some benefits by select franchise owners. This is due to the minimum wage hike. Protests are also outside a dozen other stores right around southern Ontario.